Hello. How's everyone doing tonight? I hope you guys are ready for a magical, fun evening. Hey, Beth. I'm going to go ahead and get started because I have quite a bit to do tonight to get this done, this project that we're going to do. So tonight we're going to use Magical Night, and we are going to use Places and Pebbles paper. And, oh, I was hoping I could find the word congratulations, kind of small. This might actually work, so we may use this tonight, Paper Rose sentiment sheets, because I really wanted to use congratulations, but if not, we will use something else. So stay tuned. We'll figure that out as we get there. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm sorry about the sniffling. I've been a little under the weather. I'm going to use Memento Tuxedo Black, and I'm going to stamp the shoe and the clock and the prince and the princess. I thought it would be fun. I really like this shoe, and that's why I gave it to you big and small in the stamp set. I figured small we could use for the background, and big we could use for a purpose like I'm going to use tonight. And then why not use the clock? That's just fun as it is. I don't think I got him stamped on here appropriately. I must have not got the ink on it. So we're just going to scooch and do that one more time just to make sure, unless there's something wrong with my stamp set. I don't know. Nope, it's working. I just need a little bit more ink on there. Maybe my Misty is getting a little out of whack. It's been around for a long time. There we go. Look at that. Nice, pretty, crisp stamps. Hey, look at you guys are popping in when I look down. Hey, Phyllis. Hey, Susie. Hey, Meg. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are here. Excuse my coughing. I'm going to try not to do it too much, but, you know, you can't really help it when you're a little under the weather, so... So there's that, but you know, at least I'm here crafting with you guys. That's a positive, right? That's an exciting moment. Okay, so we have a little clock that's almost midnight. We have a shoe, and we have our prince and princess. So I'm just going to put this away for now. I'll clean that up later. I'm going to use Copics tonight. You know how I like to flip-flop. We used Olos on Tuesday night. We're going to use Copics tonight. Pretty soon we're going to add in Ohuhu, so stay tuned. That'll probably happen somewhere around maybe mid-February. I might be ready at that point to really start showing off my new Ohuhu markers. But for now, this is what we're going to roll with. If somebody could comment hi just so I can make sure I can see the comments, that would be super great. Oh, there we go. Hi, Meg. Okay, awesome. Awesome. So we're going to start off with doing some skin tone for these. Thanks, Meg. Me too. I have an event coming up next weekend, and we have a really bad snowstorm coming. I was going to push this live out to later to give me a little bit of time to recoup, but I'm worried that we might lose power because of the bad storm that's coming, and I didn't want that to happen. I love my Ohuhus nearly as good as my Copics were before the cap issue. Yeah, I don't have the cap issue really on the Copics because I've had mine for like 20 plus years, so I have the the older ones before they started having the cap issues. Texas is going to be cold. That is correct. And you're expecting more snow soon. I bet you get a lot more. We don't hardly ever get snow. So this is quite, we usually get one cold, icy, yucky, like every other year. So, but they're playing this one up like it's going to be real bad. So we're a little bit nervous about that. All right, I'm going to set these aside because I'm not ready to color them yet. I'm going to start with the people. And I'm going to do their skin tones kind of at the same time so we can go through that kind of fast. And I'm using the 000 to wet the paper. And I used the Memento ink so nothing would bleed for me, which is great. Now, they're stamped on the sized paper that I'm going to need in order to put it into the album. So it's going to go into the album like this, on this paper. So I wanted to go ahead and stamp it on the right size paper. So you can't see his other hand because it's behind his back, almost like right before he bows when he meets up with the princess. And then I want to talk a little bit about her dress and her skin on her arms. So you could make this like white gloves or, you know, solid colored gloves or whatever you want. But I want to make them lacy so you can kind of see the skin tone through them. So with this first color, usually get a couple days of snow, but we've already had over a week. Oh, yuck. About to be 0 degrees tomorrow. Yeah, none of that sounds any good at all whatsoever. So in order to make these see-through, I like to put a base coat of the skin tone. So I'm going to go ahead and put this color all along her gloves. And then we will put some color on the gloves, but we want to be able to see the skin tone through them. That's what gives them the sheer, like iridescent, kind of see-through look. Hey, Beth Rose. I'm going to put a second coat just because I don't know, just because I'm feeling it tonight. I don't usually, but my E13 needs a little bit of love, so I can't use it tonight. So we'll just do this extra coat to kind of deepen the color just a little bit. So there we go. Next, I'm going to go with E04 for my shadow area. I'm going to hold my marker upright because I want some of this to be super small and not a thick line, but a very small line. So the more upright I hold my marker, the thinner I can make my lines. So that is the goal. They look so nervous, these two little people together, like it's the first time. I sort of imagine it as the ballroom night when they first meet all dressed up. I mean, they already met in the forest, but you know. And I'm not going to put any of this on the gloves because, again, we want the gloves to look sheer and see-through. So we're kind of doing a little trickery on that. So no dark color on those or it'll take away from what we'll want to do. Now her hair is up and very poofy, so we are going to put shadow underneath her hairline. I'm having hot flashes and not hot flashes. And I'm like, can you turn the fan on? Can you turn the fan off? Poor Dale. Just suffering through the hot cold with me. It's not fun, but At least there's a little sympathy there. Now, his eyebrows, he's going to have darker hair, so I don't really care if I get any of this color in his really thin eyebrows because I'm going to color them with a dark color, so it's not really going to matter all that much to me. If I were going to make them blonde, I'd be a little more careful, but I don't really need to with this particular one. Now her arms up here, it's such a small area that I'm only going to really put these two colors in there. It'll look funny at first, but don't worry, it'll all come together, I promise. I promise, I promise. I love it when Beth 1 and Beth 2 are here. It makes me giggle just a little. There we go. She's so adorable. She needs lipstick. I mean, well, she needs lipstick, that's for sure. But she's also going to need blush. So I am going to pull this R12 out. So I don't want to put it on his cheeks. I don't want his cheeks to look so pink, but I definitely want hers to look pink. So we're going to put that on her, and then we're going to choose R01 for his cheeks, just so we don't have too much pink, but enough to give him a little bit of a rosy cheek. Not too much, just a little bit. I call it Hot Flashes Power Surges since it's cold out. I think it's superpower. I love that. Yeah, they happen to me all the time. It's the norm for me. Sometimes I get more than others, so, but they'll never go away. I've had them since I'm in my early 30s. E21. And we only have one more color after E21. So I'm going to do a bit of around the outside and a bit of filling it in with this color. Because the last one is just for the highlight. Thanks, hon. He turned off the fan. Yay! All right. So we're charging all our devices and everything in case we lose power this weekend. Trying to stay ahead of the game. Hoping that we won't lose power because we have everything charged up. Isn't that the way it goes? Yep. That's the way it goes. If you're unprepared, it slams you. If you are prepared, then it doesn't. I'm glad I'm not traveling until next week, but yeah. I don't know how long it'll take to get it all cleaned up. I'm doing right at the top of her gloves. The next color, I will put a little bit of shadow type area on her gloves. So E00 is what we're going to use to kind of finish off the color. Also, that E21 kind of puts a little yellowish brown kind of tone to the skin versus the pink tone that I prefer, I guess, if you will. And be prepared. Yes, be prepared. So I kind of go over quite a bit of it because I want to bring that pinkish color back in. You'll notice that I did her lips a little bit different than what I normally do. I'm trying to give you a little bit more detail and cuteness and, you know, rather than just a line. So I think I'm going to go with, she is out for a night at the ball, so I'm going to go with E04 for the lipstick. So I have to hold my marker up completely upright in order to get that tiny bit of color on her lips. And that is how I do it. It's a very small area, but if you don't want to go outside the lips, you got to hold that marker upright so you can get a really nice color there on her lips. Okay. Now we have skin done. That is good. Let's move on to, let's do hair next. Hair today, gone tomorrow. So I think I'm going to give him a little bit of red in his hair color, just a little bit. In his brown with a little bit of red. So I'm going to use like E49. Yeah. E29, then E09, and then I'll kind of follow it up with E25. I know it looks a little crazy colors, but it'll be okay. And then her, I really want her hair to be more blonde than dark. So you guys, I slept wrong on my neck last night, and I have so much pain in my neck right now that turning my head to look for the markers in the marker bin is killing me. Okay, I'm going to choose my blonde colors. I think I want to start with Y26. And I'm just kind of guessing on this, so I don't really know exactly what I want it to be. Y26, or maybe for a little bit more golden, I could add YR24. And then we have to start going towards yellow, like quite a bit towards yellow. So Y23 maybe. Hey, what's up with this marker? Ooh, something's wrong with this marker. Oh no. I need to weigh it, you guys. I think I'm having a problem with my marker. Where's my scale? This is what happens when you're live. I haven't done my quarterly maintenance, which is probably going to happen this weekend. But I'm feeling a little bit of anxiety about this marker. No? It says it has ink in it. I must be... the nib feels dry though. Something's not right. Okay, hold on. I gotta bring the light over here a little closer so I can really look at the nib and see. Might have a problem with the nib. So I will try this color. Yeah, see, it's not, something's wrong with it. I'll pick a different color for now. I should check the caps too to see if there's... You guys know how to check the caps, right? You got to look inside the lid and see if you can see a crack. I just said I don't have any problems with that. And I've usually... Nope, no cracks. Must be something's clogged in this nib, I bet. So I'll have to change that, but I don't have any any nibs out right now. So I'm going to put that marker aside in my clean bucket. And let's try Y21. I don't really like that one. Let's try Y32. Y32 is better, I think. And then I think I'm going to go straight to Y11 from there. It's going to bring in some more yellow. So I think what we're going to do... Hey, Barbara. I think what we're going to do is YR24, Y26, Y32, and Y11. I know these are all strange combinations, but they're what are calling to me tonight. So let's go ahead and do hers first in case I have any issues. YR24. So I'm going to start by doing the underside of her hair, giving it some shadow, the part that's real close to under, you know, like to her head. Just get a little bit of color up in there, just right around her face, and then up along this ear and towards the back a little bit. And then this is tucked over her hair, so I want a little bit of shadow there. And then it's always dark where the bun or ponytail is. So we're going to do a little bit from there. And then we're going to do the same thing here. Just going to put a little bit all around there. There we go. So it's just a little to start with. I kind of want her hair more light colored, so I'm not going to put a whole lot of these dark colors in there, but we need them for shadow effect. Okay, so this one overlaps here. This one, there's a little bit, I'm going to extend a little bit more from where I put the first one, and then I'm going to put a little bit in between those areas where I put that other color. We're just going to start filling that part in. I'm going to do just a teeny bit from the top, not too much yet. We'll do that with the next color. But just so we get it started, I'm going to do going further from this, her little bun. And then I'm going to do the same thing out here. I'm going to try to keep that curve going. All right, so that gets us a little bit of that dark color in there. And then I'm going to switch to that Y32. I really wanted to use that other marker, but I need to check it out first. So this is the second to the last color, so it will finish up small spots, and then around the edges, and then we'll be leaving highlight areas for the last color. So coming this way, a little bit here. Looks like I'm kind of filling it in, but I'm not. I'm leaving some small areas for the last color. So a little bit in there. That bun is all wrapped up, so it's going to be pretty dark. And then we're going to switch to our Y11, which is going to bring the brighten it up and bring out the light areas. So I'm going to go just over top of wherever the white is. And I think this brightens it up just enough to make it super pretty. Going to come from the outside into the dark color. I do want to soften these lines up in her bun, so I'm going to go over those just a little bit extra. And then that gives me a little bit of that golden look for her hair. Now, if you decide that you want more detail in her hair, you can always go back in and add a little bit more. Like I would go with the second marker you use, so like Y26. How am I feeling? Not that great, but I'm trying to hang in there. I'm fighting a good fight against all of the cooties that are going on. The cooties that Dale gave me from last week, because last week Dale was sick. Gonna add just a little bit more back here. And then he made me sick, and now here we are. You love watching me color hair. It took me a long time to get really comfortable with hair. I'm going to go in a little bit more with this color just to soften those lines I put in. This is the Y11. And then I'll show it to you up close. This is how you can do it if you want a little more detail in the hair. It's up to you how much you want. I would have been okay with it the other way. I like it this way too. This way looks a little bit more like strands of hair, which is pretty important if you're trying to make it look more realistic. So now we're going to do the same thing with brown, but we're going to do his hair. And his hair's a little wild, so we got to try to follow his the design of his hair. Now, don't forget this little bit of hair that's back here on his neck. And then what's right over his ear and his little sideburns. And then this, I'm not going to put a whole lot of this one, but these areas right here, they're pretty dark because they're definitely in shadow. And then in the part, you would always put some darkness in the part, the little part area of hair. And then just somewhere they're folding over, you know, just adding a little bit here and there. It doesn't really have to be specific on where you put it. You can do it yourself. Just make sure you stay in the direction of the hair. That's the most important part, because if you just make your lines go any way and every way, then you'll miss that consistency of hair. So that is the most important part. Now, I don't want to make his eyebrows quite this dark, so I am not going to do his eyebrows yet. I don't want them to look super dark. Now, if I ever see like a sticky area, sometimes you'll see me put my finger on there, and that's just to pick up any, you know, anything that might still be, any residue that might be left on there, so it doesn't become shiny. E29 is next. It's also very dark, so I'm just going to be extending out from where I put the darkest colors. It's a little bit more brown and it has a little bit of a red tone to it, undertone to it. So it's going to help move us into that E09 that we're going to use next, and that's why I chose that color. You could also do some of the other colors to get that reddish tone, but I like 29, 49, 29, and E09. I like E09 a lot. I like to add E09 to hair a lot. I think this one is good for his eyebrows because the next one, the E09, will be too red and probably too light. So just get him some little eyebrows in there. And then here's the E09. And we'll just leave a really light area for highlight. So this is going to turn it a little bit more red. And I like red hair. I always wanted red hair when I was little. My mom had red hair, so I wanted red hair. I had red hair for a while via a box or a hairdresser. But then I went to purple and I haven't gone back. Just loving the purple. Okay, let me see if this is light enough for me. I might want to go a little bit lighter. Oh no, I think this will be good. I was thinking maybe E23 would be better, but I think I'm going to like this color. So I'm just going to touch the areas that have white still in them. I don't want to wash out any of the colors that I have. I kind of like them just the way they are. So I'm going to add these to my light areas. I'm not going to do a lot of that blending back and forth or anything like that, because I want to keep all my strands of hair. I'm going to go back here and just add to that part I told you not to forget, because I almost forgot it. And then we have a little bit of a brown hair and a little bit of blonde hair. I'm not really a fan of it right here in this area right here. So I'm going to go over that one more time real quick just to make sure I get a little bit smoother. And I'm going to do it in that flicking kind of motion just to get it a little bit of a smoother transition. Now, I have a great thing to show you. Remember how I told you it might be getting, see how you can see that, you can see shiny on the hair. There's none on hers, but on his there's some shiny. You see that shiny? Means I need to clean my markers. But once you let that dry a little bit, I usually touch it with my fingers so there's not any chunks of color there that would show, that would smear when I do this next step. So be careful of that. But I take my high polymer eraser. This eraser I use all the time, got from Michael's, super cheap. I rubbed it on my pants before I brought it up here to clean off any pencil or marks that were on it. And then I take this and I just rub it over top of where I colored and where it was shiny. And it usually takes most of that shine off. which is great for when you photograph your picture later. So it kind of helps with that. It's still a little bit of a shine, but not quite as bad as it was before. And you can't see it from every angle anymore. So I really use this eraser a lot. And you can see it picked up a little bit of brown on there. So it removes some of that sticky stuff. And that's just because it's time to maintain my markers. It's because the caps are dirty. They're picking up sticky stuff. It's really bad for your coloring. If you have sticky markers, I think this one's sticky too. See how they're all dirty in there and they have that dried up stuff? That's like a jelly kind of consistency. If you pick that up on your nib, it clogs your nib and it's bad for it. So be careful with that. It does work. It works. I do it all the time. I do it. Excuse me. Excuse me. I do it all the time. Sorry, I'm hoping that's all that talking is not going to make me start coughing. I want to keep the colors that I chose for the card base. The color that I chose is this blue color. So I'm going to want to accent with blue on the outfits and stuff. But I also want to put in a different color because we don't want the whole thing to be blue. Hi, Cheryl. Cheryl pop in when I wasn't looking. All right, let's see. I think tonight I'm feeling a little bit like this blue color for her dress. But when I do this blue color, these two are going to be really, really blue. So now that I'm thinking about it, I think I'm going to pull the mid one out, which is the B04. And I'm going to change it for maybe BG34. I'm going to stick a blue-green in the middle of it. And then we'll follow it up with the light blue as well. And we need these really light blues for her gloves. So they look like they're kind of see-through. So this is the color that we're going to work on for her dress. And then for him, I'm not going to do the blue in his down here, but I think I'm going to make his jacket blue so they kind of go together. I'll probably make all of this stuff very, very light and darker down here, lighter up here. Which makes me think that we should make her sleeves kind of see-through too. What do you think about that? Let's grab that E000 and I'll show you how to do that. So this is like where her arms would go, kind of. Doesn't have to be perfect, but as long as you have some in there, it'll be enough to show that it'll look like you can see her shoulders through her dress. I was going to ask you how you were doing, but you started coughing. Yeah, I'm congested. It started off with the sore throat. That's gone, thank goodness. But now it's nasal congestion and all kinds of stuff. But if you've never had these, I'm gonna share this tip. Look at this. This is Puffs Plush Lotion. Look at this, with the scent of Vicks. So sometimes when you pull them out and you just put them up to your nose, it clears your nose up, just like Vicks Vapor Rub would. It's super great. Those are the best Kleenex ever. I think for his pants, since we're going to make his shirt more of the blue with maybe a little bit of the gold around it, I'm going to make his pants more of like a tan, but kind of like a taupe, but darker. So I think I'm going to go for, let's look at these colors and see if they're going to give me the right tone. So this is my E87. It's going to be kind of like a greenish taupe, and then E84. And so there's a little bit of green in that. So I'm going to follow that up with E43. And that way they'll look a little bit on the taupe-ish side. I'm going to make his boots black. Or maybe I'll use W's because that'll go with this warm color that we have right here. So I'm going to do W9, 7, and 6. Look, we're getting all our little colors here. I'm going to pull out some of the colors from her hair for his, like, gold for his little choker right there, and then his belt buckle. Yeah, Vicks in the tissue. It's the best thing ever, I'm telling you. Vicksburg tissues, yeah. They're the best. You have to look, though. It has to have that little teeny Vicks in the corner of the whole box. It doesn't advertise anything else. It's just that little bitty one in the corner. And it is amazing. It's the best. So I was so excited when Dale brought them home from the store for me. He was like, look, I got you these. I was like, oh, yay. It's much better than sniffing a Vicks container. And then he got me those shower bombs that are Vicks, which are really awesome too. But they help clear your nose. The worst part is coughing when I'm trying to sleep, because then I can't go to sleep. That was Y26, and then I'm going to follow it up with Y32. So if you get to feeling bad, those are the best Kleenex ever. So I just wanted to have a little bit that kind of matched her hair on his clothes. So just the two gold accents there. And maybe we'll even put a little bit, let's put some on this. So this is just his design around his shirt, just to show that royalty, gold on the, give him a little bit of royal look. So I'm just going really lightly. You could make this the same color as the shirt, just leaving a little bit of decal on there, but I think it'll give it just a little bit of extra, royalty look if you add to this. So that's why I put this design on there, was just so you could just color it all the same color, or you could add just a teeny bit of something else in there, just to give it a little bit of extra oomph on the color. So I only used two colors, one dark to kind of darken it up and one light for highlight. So there you go. It's a little bit of gold in there. You could use a gel pen as well if you wanted to, and it would do pretty close to the same effect. But E87, I'm going to start doing the pants, and I don't want them to be really dark, so I'm just going to put a little bit in here to start off with. We definitely need a little bit up underneath his coat because that's shadowing his pants, and a little bit right here where they're tucked into his boots. Elderberry juice works for coughing. Really? Where do you get that? I need that. I mean, you guys, I coughed so much I gave myself a bad headache. And last night I coughed so much I couldn't sleep. Every time I started to fall asleep, I would start coughing. I hate that. I mean, Dale was sick last week, so I know I probably got it from him. But he tried so hard. I've been taking all of that, you know, boost your immune system and all those things to keep from getting the cold that he had. But it didn't work. So now I've just been staying home nursing myself. But it could be worse. I think it's why I'm not as bad as I could be is because we, you know, Dale kept coming out with that stuff that you take to boost your immune system. And I was like, why are you giving me this? And he was like, because I don't want you to get sick. Oh, you get it at Walgreens? Okay, good. There's a Walgreens right by my house. So does fresh pineapple. Oh, I love pineapple. Bromelain in it relaxes the lungs from the spasms, cough. Oh, wow, look at you guys are so smart. All I have to do is ask you guys and you can help me out. I did not know that. I've been using honey, hot tea, but all of those things sound wonderful. So this is my E43 that's bringing it back to more of a brown than an olive green color. And it's working great. See, it's exactly what color I wanted. It kind of gives a little bit of accent to the gold that's on there. And then I think I'm going to go to E42 because I feel like I need one more color on here. You know, because as if 3 weren't enough already. You could have just finished it off with that 3rd color, but I felt like I needed just this one more accent color in there. And I love it. I love the way it turned out. Okay, that was great. Maybe I'll give her a little bit of accent on her dress that'll match him. So for just the bands, like here, here, and then right here up close on her dress, we'll make those this brownish taupe color. E84. We'll try to make it look like it's beautiful and bright. And we'll skip right on to E42. I'm going to skip E43 so I can have a highlight on here. And the lighter it is, the more it'll look highlighted. I think that works out nicely. These are too small for it to matter on the wrist, but at least it'll give her a little bit of that look. Chrysanthemum tea is good for soothing the throat and calming your cough. Oh, that's a good idea. I do love pineapple too. I'm with you. I'm with you, Meg. I love pineapple. All right, let's do the W9 for his belt and his boots. So I'm going to put the 9 on the soles of his boots first. And then I'm going to go along his belt. I'm going to do just a little bit on this side. And then right here. And then I'm going to do a little bit on his boots, like down the sides just a little bit, and under here, like his pants are hanging over the edge of his boots. But not a whole lot. I want to keep the boots a little bit lighter. So this is just the shadow area. Just put a little bit more emphasis on some of those little lines that are on his boots. I'm not going to put any gray on her. She's just going to be pretty the way she is. W7 is next. And we only have one more, we only chose one more color to go with this. So I'm going to make sure that I get most of it filled in and just leave a little bit of highlight area there. Same for the boots. We definitely want around the outsides and like really get that colored in. Since we only have one more color. We'll do the same thing with the boots. And it looks like my W is a little bit shiny as well. And so what I'm going to do is use that eraser again when I'm done so it doesn't leave any shiny, shimmery spots. I don't know if you can see them. I can see them. Like, see right up there at the top of, see how it's shiny right there? I can see that on my paper. You can't see it on camera, but in showing everything and being honest about what I see and what I color, I have to point it out to you. So if you run into that, you'll know how to handle it. This is the W6. And I am going to finish the boots off with W6. Because we'll just use white gel pen for a little bit of highlighting on the top of the boots. So I'm okay with finishing them off with the dark color. So there we go. I think those are coming out nicely. Boots can be shiny. Yes, they can. Boots can be shiny. I have some very flashy boots with some shiny stuff on them. All right, here we go. I'm going to use my eraser just to erase anything that could be sticky or whatever. Just be careful when you do this. Sometimes I end up bending the paper because I'm doing it, pushing too hard with the eraser. I have a heavy hand. So that's better. It kind of just takes away that shine that I don't like having on there. All right, so now we're going to get into these blue colors. So I think I'm going to pull one more out, or maybe two more out, the B000 and the BG000, so I can do the see-through areas. And we're going to start with those. So I'm going to use B00 as my shadow color. So that's where I'm going to put, this is going to be like my darkest color. And that's where I'm going to put like wherever the shadow would be. So her head and stuff would be shadow over her puffy sleeves. And then she would have a little bit on these gloves, like where her hands overlap. And then maybe a little bit here, some along the back. They look a little funny with blue and skin tone on there. But I think we're going to put a little bit more on the bodice of her dress. Because I want you to be able to see the difference between the see-through area and this area. So a little bit more on this area to make it look slightly more blue. So using the same markers but getting different effects. His is going to be darker, so I'm not putting any of these light colors on his. So this is B000. Excuse me. I'm going to scoot down from where I put that initial color and then along the bottom of this one. A little bit down from here. A little bit on these sleeves. A little bit more. And then this part. Leaving just a small area for highlight. These are really light colors, and I'm not a real pastel kind of gal, so this is a little bit hard for me, but we'll do it anyway. B000, we can't always be completely dark, so. Notice this one doesn't completely cover up the skin tone, so you can still kind of see the shape of her arm through. That makes her sleeves sheer. What is Dale making with lots of rattling of papers? It's a good question. What are you making over there, Dale? What are you doing?
I'm just looking for something.
I think he's looking through the PLA, and the bags all make a lot of noise. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I wanted to print something in white, but we are out of white, and I cannot order it.
Why?
Because it'll arrive on Saturday.
When the storm's here. Yeah.
So
he was digging through PLA You love that effect? Yeah, if you need to, once you do it, if you need to give it just a little bit more, you can always come back in with like your E000 just to add that undertone back in there if you need it. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. And then I'm going to smooth it out with the 000. And that just kind of makes it look like you can see her arms through her sleeves. And I really like that effect. So you can just draw them in there or just pretend. I mean, you don't even have to be an artist to be able to do that. You just have to give an idea, because people's eyes will go exactly, will tell them exactly what you're trying to do. Like if they see the skin tone, their brain will immediately say, oh, you can see through those sleeves. Besides something what is PLA besides something he's playing with? All these 3Ds, they're made out of PLA. That's the filament. It's the name of the plastic that's used to make all of these things that we have in the shop. And he wanted to make something in white, and he's out of white right now. So now we're going to switch to the darker colors. So B18 is the darkest shade. So for him, I'm going to put that B18 in here, because all of this would really be shadowed in his outfit. And then a little bit like under his collars, you know, all the hidden areas. Maybe a little bit underneath where his hand shadowing. And then for her, it's going to be under here, because we're going to make the bottom of this dress a much darker blue. So a little bit under her hands. And down her dress. And then this is where we're going to build this little fold over on her dress. So this is just the start of it. This is the base of that. It will lighten with the next colors, but just to get a little bit of that fold in there started, I'm going to do it like this. I do around the edge, and there we go. So that gets her started. He probably needs a little bit up here around the collar as well. Just like that. And to keep this little line of accent right here, I'm just going to put a little bit of the dark color right there. Maybe we should put some around here. So the call is yours on how dark you want his shirt to be. But that's all I'm going to put on his shirt. Oh, cool. Now you get it. Oh, somebody else popped in. Judy. Hi, Judy. Even though I can't see that. I can't see her. Okay. B16 is next. And I'm going to hold those colors, 18 and 16, for the eyes as well. So here we go with 16. I want to be a little bit free with that color. So I'm going to start building in these pleats right here. So while I'm making these marks, I'm going to go longer where the pleats are going to come meet up at the waist. So shorter ones and then longer ones so I can make those meet up. So shorter up here and then longer to meet with the bottom one. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. And then the easiest way is to flip it upside down and start working on the bottom up as well. So we want to extend out a little bit from where we had that last color. And then we want to extend this way as well. So we're just starting to build in this shadowed part around the bottom of her dress. And this is not the only way to do pleats. This is just the way I in the mood to do this one tonight. There are lots of different ways to do it. Figure out which one you like and work with that one. This one around here. And there we go. So now we have that part started. Now I'm going to come over here to his. I mean, we want him matching her. I did just watch A Knight's Tale last night, and he was like, oh, you're going to the dance? What color are you wearing? So the girl can match the boy's color, and then they'll know they're together at the dance. So I'm matching their colors. I'm going around this gold just so I don't color in the gold by mistake.
Said that she got her stamp set and stencil today.
Oh, yay. And that adorable little duck. Oh, I'm so glad you got your little duck. I know he's so tiny. I hope people don't throw him away. He's the surprise, little surprise in when you buy from us. I try to put a little surprise in inside your bag. Just a little something for your desk. And it's glittery and sparkly like all the princess dresses. There we go. And I'm just going to make his cuffs this exact color. I'm just going to do the whole thing in that color. So we want to.
She needs to wait till next month.
What's that? Oh, you need to wait. No worries. I have ducks. You'll still get a duck probably. I also have some other. I mean, you never know. Could be a dinosaur. Could be a duck. Could be a who knows. Who knows what might pop into your package. You never know. With me, it's always a surprise. Yeah, the only thing I was telling everybody, Meg, is if there's something in particular that you want, that you know that you're afraid might sell out, let me know, because I am going to a pop-up shop this weekend. So if I sell out, eek!
We can put it aside.
Yep. We could leave a few of whatever it is that you were looking for at home. Otherwise, I don't know. You don't know. I could go and I could sell nothing, or I could go and I could sell out on some stuff. You just never know. I'm a little nervous about this. Yep, we're doing it. We're rolling with it. BG34. Here we go. This is going to change the color entirely. No worries though. Just going to extend from where I put that original color. The next color will bring it right back to this blue, but leave a little bit of the green in there. So while it doesn't blend super great right now, don't worry about that. My intent is more to get a little bit of a green undertone on here than it is for you to be able to see it as green. So don't freak out. I know you guys would be like, if you ever watch somebody and you go, oh man, I liked it better before they stuck that color in there. Don't worry, I'm going back to the turquoise. I just want this base coat color in there.
Don't worry, Meg, we got you covered.
Yep. Don't worry. I have something on the tip of my marker. We'll take care of you. Yeah, we did some inventory yesterday, and I was like, eek. We're low on a few things that
I have to get work on.
That Dale can make, or a few things. Like there's a couple of the shaker pouches that are shaker mixes that are gonna probably sell out because we only have a few left. So just adding this color in there, even though it's not going to be the true color. But if I want him to match her, I got to have the color in there, you know. All right, here's where we're going to bring it back. B02. So I'm going to go back up here and I'm going to blend from where that one ended so I can get a little smoother blend up there. You'll be able to see. I probably needed the, I need the 04. I need the 04. So I'm going back to pull out the 04 as well because this isn't blending as well without 04. I need 04. Then we'll go to 02. This will blend those top colors nicely, just so we don't have any lines. But I'm still gonna leave some of that green alone because I want you to be able to see a little bit of that green in there. There we go. Okay, starting to look the way I had intended. So we're gonna do the same thing with him, smoothing out his color a little bit. I always like, when I'm trying to build this like light blue, I always like to add just one BG color in there. I don't know why. Maybe it's just a personal preference for me, but I just like it that way. I just like that color a lot. It's definitely a me thing. So if it's not a you thing, just leave the BG color out and do just the B colors. It really is a personal preference on my behalf that I love that color. So you can really do it the way that you want. All right, now we're going to switch back down to our B02. And those two will blend very nicely together. But it's light enough that you can still see that blue-green in there, which is what I wanted. So just work it gently until you get that smooth transition color that you want. So it's looking really nice. You can leave those pleats very obvious, you know, stand out-ish, dark in there, or you can work them a little bit more and lighten them up, whatever works for you. I went a little bit outside the lines on there, so I'm gonna have to use the colorless blender to get those back in line right there. And I'll show that to you up close so you can learn how to do that yourself, because when people look at my coloring, they're like, wow, you never go outside the lines. Yeah, I do it all the time. I just know how to push the color back where I wanted it to be. Ooh, I'm glad I didn't drop that marker top on there. That would have been really bad. That would have been pushing a lot of ink. This one, I think I might have missed this one with the B04, but that's okay. It's blending nicely anyway. There we go. And you can see as it dries, it's a little bit lighter, and that's okay. Maybe going back and forth, I think maybe I lost. Huh?
You went there out of bounds there at the bottom.
Yeah, right here. I said I was going to put it back in there. All right, I'm going to go up here one more time and darken this up just a little bit more. I feel like I lost a little bit of that in the transition, and I really want to kind of see that a little bit more. So I'm going to go back in there, put that back in, and then that'll make me a little more happy. Come back with, was that 04? Yeah. And then take this one, the B02, and I'm only going to go from where I stopped and extend it just a little bit more. That way I keep those lines and kind of build that pattern in there just a little bit more. Remember, you can always go back over Copics. You can even go back over Copics like the next day or the next whatever, because once you wet it with the alcohol that's in the marker, once you wet the paper again, you can color with it again. So you're never completely finished. You can always switch it up. I think B04 is, I need B02. Yep. There we go. Okay, 02 is what we need to be working with now. We're just going to smooth up his outfit. I want his outfit a little more smooth than her dress. So I'm going to play with a little of the back and forth for a bit to get that to smooth out a little bit more than I did with her dress. Now remember, I did the cuffs of his sleeves with just that one blue color. And that gives a, you can see the variation between where the blue-green is and where the blue-green is not. So if you can see the difference between that, and that's what shows that it's a little bit different. So I'm not putting, I didn't put any of that blue-green over the cuffs on his sleeves. I just want to blend that out a little bit more. I like this color. I like mixing colors like this. I am very big on that, by the way, in case you didn't know that. One of my favorites, and maybe we'll do it later, like maybe next week. Ooh. Maybe the next time that I color pinks, I'll add in that salmon pink that I love.
Next Thursday.
Yeah, I might be here Tuesday. Thursday I won't, because Thursday I'll be on the road.
Oh, I'm talking about the following Thursday.
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to be out, you guys, because I'm going to Arizona, but that doesn't mean there won't necessarily be a live. So I've told Dale that I would color some images for him so he can make some cards with you guys. Since he doesn't do the coloring just yet. So be on the lookout for a live with Dale. Should be super fun. I'll probably be able to join in the comments if I'm not doing something at the retreat I'm going to, but I just want you guys to know.
Sandy always has her hands full coloring for me because I'm very specific on what I want.
Very, very specific. What do you think about those colors? You love my coloring? Thank you. I love two colors, so it all works out great for me. Okay, I think I want to keep with the blue eyes for both of them. So I think I'm going to use the same colors on the eyes. So B18, I'm going to put at the top of their eyes. Their eyes are pretty small, so you could just do one color if you're nervous about mixing the colors for their eyes. And then I'm going to go to B16. So this is sticking with a very blue versus this blue-green color we got going on. So a little bit, I just did a little bit under the black part of his eye. I'm just extending hers on both sides a little bit. And then I'm going to come in now with B00. I know this is way lighter than the other two colors I did, but I like to give that little bit of wow factor to the eyes and the glassy look, and you need a lighter color to do that. And it'll stand out even more when I color the eyes back with the black marker. But look how it makes their eyes shine at the bottom. It's because the color is so much lighter that we put at the bottom. See how that works like that? So don't be afraid to do that. You can skip all the middle colors and go straight to the highlight after you do the darkest colors, and it'll give the effect. So don't be afraid to try that. We will be focusing greatly on eyes at the retreat. If you guys are so inclined to try to come to the retreat in April, we will be focusing on each part. We will be focusing on hair and eyes and skin and clothes, and what else do I have? I have a whole list of things that we're going to be working on in class. So we are going to be working on the specifics of the how-to, starting off with how to blend smoothly, how to blend different color families together, and then we'll move into hair and skin and eyes and all that good stuff. And we'll do complete projects, so you'll be able to do that part as well. Now, this is going to be our little scene. We have a couple of little extras right here we have to do, and we're going to use the same markers that we did before. These are going to go super fast. So for the clock, oh, that wasn't the one I meant to pick up. I want it to be that goldish, yellowish goldish color, like around her waist. So we're going to use those same colors, Y26, like around the outside part. So at the top and the bottom, I'm going to put in this Y26.
Retreat is a little too far for her, and it makes it make me sad. Can't go.
Oh, I know. I wish you could. It would be so great. But I know it's a long way to travel. Man, I wish I could come to you. I'd love to see your area. I know, Meg. I'm bummed that you can't come. Really bummed. But I know why, and it's okay. I understand completely. Meg and I have retreats back to back. So Meg will be doing the retreat with LV Handcrafted on the weekend before. And then it's online. And then the in-person one is the very next weekend. So in her preparation, she's just not going to have time to make it, which makes me super sad. But don't worry, there'll be another one. It's not the only one I'm going to do. And there'll be some online ones. So don't worry. I'll be able to catch you all. Susie, there'll be online retreats as well. You might lose a little sleep, though, because our time zones are so jacked. But with the B00, I'm just going to put a teeny bit around the outside of the clock. Just because I want there to be a little bit of color inside the clock. And I feel like this way it'll stay with the color theme I have going on. And then I'm going to do just a little bit around the center part of the clock. Like that. And then I'm going to use my colorless blender to kind of blend out that blue so it's not so obvious. I just want it to be subtle. So I'm just softening that line so there's not a harsh line there for the blue, but it's enough to show a little bit of color inside that clock.
Well, when we do an online retreat, I'm sure we'll do it during the day on a weekend to accommodate
everybody.
Yes.
Yes. And there'll be repeats and you can watch it later and, you know, so it has a little bit of blue, but it's not too bad. I like it to have just a little bit. Now, glass slipper. Who's ready for glass slipper? So I'm going to show you how I did kind of like this. It didn't scan as well as I wanted it to be interpreted for, but I'm going to show you how we did that. So I'm going to start with the B02. You can sleep during the day so you can watch the lives. Yay! See, that'll work. I do like late hours. I can't help myself. Okay, so I'm going to put this color wherever I want there to be a bit of a shadow on this shoe.
Your mom says hi.
Hey, Mom. You just popping in? I tried to call you today. You didn't answer. Just saying. Along the back of the shoe line, we're going to build it along that edge since I had to stamp a little bit off the page for that. I'm going to do some right up here at the top. This sole line right here. I'm going to do underneath the bow a little bit. Don't worry, it's not going to stay this dark. This is just putting in the shadow type effect.
Well, Beth, what better time to celebrate anniversary in Vegas?
Exactly.
You can go get married in the little chapel.
You can go get
Renew the
married
vows.
again and
Have an Elvis wedding.
yeah. It'd be like a big old celebration. Nothing better than that. And you guys who come to the in-person retreat, you guys get to meet Dale. Because he will be there the whole time. There we go.
And who knows, there might be a daytime retreat and then a nighttime retreat to the casino.
Right? Because you know we can't go to Vegas without going to the casino. Okay. Now I'm going to switch to B00. Sorry, I was struggling to get the cap off the back of that. All right, so now what I'm going to do is go from the color into the white. It'll soften the edges and start building in that color just a little bit. I'm not doing this completely back to back. I'm leaving some empty spaces between my...
Beth got married in the Chapel of Love in Vegas.
Oh my gosh, did you really? That is so funny. Phyllis, not without me. All right, you're welcome to come as well. You know, everybody's welcome.
We were going to get married in Vegas, but my mom couldn't see her baby not being there for
okay, so we're going to tell this story. I'm going to tell this story now. I know you're here, Phyllis. You probably never heard this story before, but I'm going to tell it anyway. So, you guys are going to like this story. It's kind of funny. So, I told Dale, I don't want to do a big wedding. I don't want to, do any of that. I just want a really fun honeymoon. That is my goal. I want a nice honeymoon. Let's just go elope. And he was like, Vegas? And I go, Vegas sounds great. So we were going to run off to Vegas and get married. And he told his mom. And then he told me. My mom cried. She said she wasn't going to get any weddings.
No, my mom.
Huh?
My mom.
Yeah. I said his mom. His mom, she cried because she said both her other kids got married at the JP and she didn't get no weddings. And she was very sad. And I told Dale, okay, I'll tell you what. We'll do a small wedding here. But I don't want anything big. And he was like, okay. And so that is why we did not get married in Vegas. But we had a great time. We just had a small wedding in Salado, Texas. And his mom got to come and it was really nice. And it was a great wedding. But we originally planned to just run away and get married in Vegas. I mean, not without telling anyone clearly, because, but I just didn't, I didn't want to spend a lot of money on a wedding, so. Dale was like, okay, that's fine with me. Then his mom was like, no. But I love my mom and my mother-in-law, so it was easy for me to say, okay, you're right. It's not fair. I would be heartbroken if my son did that to me. So, okay, so we're adding color each time, just a little bit. This is the B quadruple 0, so it's really, really light. We're just going to add a little bit of this here and there, and then we're going to come in with the colorless blender and neutralize some of this color. So these shoes are much lighter.
Kyle would have got married in Vegas, we really would have had a good bachelor party.
I know we have tried with both of our kids to get them to get married in Vegas, and neither one of them want to get married in Vegas, but we tried. My daughter, she was like, no, I'm not. I go, a destination wedding, it's cheaper, and Red Rocks is amazing. And she was like, no, we don't want to do that. So, yeah. We haven't given up on the bachelorette party in Vegas for my daughter yet, though. We may still get lucky. Okay, so now what I'm doing is kind of going over the whole shoe with this colorless blender to kind of bleach out some of that color I put in there. But it's enough color that it'll hold the seams, the colors in the seams. Because what I want this to look like is not like a white shoe, but like a glass slipper. So this is what I have. Give it a few minutes because it has to dry. Once it dries, you won't be able to see it quite as much as you can now. So I'm going to shake it just a little bit while we're looking at everything else. Yeah, we have some funny stories. What can I say? So now we have where it's got a bit of that color from her dress, but it's not a totally colored shoe, if you will. So look, it looks a lot like the top part of her dress. And when we add the white gel pen, it'll be even better. Okay, so I'm going to move these markers over so I can show you what kind of card we are going to make with this. We're going to make a little bit of we've made this card once before. I don't know if you guys were watching or not, but it's going to be a little bit like a peekaboo kind of card because we're going to hide them and then we'll show them when it's time. This is my white gel pen. I'm going to do the eyes with white gel pen so it can dry while we're working on our other stuff. Let's put a little bit here, a little bit here. Aww, a little bit here. Gonna put a little bit around this little belt here, a little bit on the shoes, like we said earlier. And then if you want to put anywhere else, you certainly can. For her, I'm gonna put a little bit like on her sleeves just because, you know, we wanted them to be see-through. So I'm gonna add just a little bit of accents there. Not really much else on her dress. I don't really want it to stand out. Then we have our clock. I'm not going to put any white gel pen on the clock except unless we wanted to put like one little dot on top of the clock area. But on the shoes, I'm going to put more. So I'm going to put a little bit up here and a little bit here. A little bit here. I want it to kind of show a little bit here. A little bit here. I'm going to do a little bit around here. Kind of just give us a little bit of white on her shoes. I know you can't really see it right now, but you will be able to. Now, for the clock, I have to cut it out, but I don't have to cut anything else out. Everything else is going to go just the way it is. So I'm just going to cut this little clock out. I'm hoping that that I can fit one of these other sentiments on the girls because the one I wanted to use doesn't fit. So I'm a little bit discouraged about that, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. Okay, so now we have our little clock, which I thought would look really nice popped up right here with the shoe. And when I show you the rest of the whole thing, you'll get it. But if not, then this little clock will go on the wall here. So I haven't decided yet, but we'll see. Beautiful slipper. You like the slipper? I did the slipper in pink as well when I was doing the ephemera. So there's a glass slipper in blue and there's one in pink. Okay, where's my papers? Here they are. Okay, so I already kind of cut my papers. I'm going to scoot these aside for now so you can see what I did. This is the base piece that we need. It is 12 by 4.5, 4 1/4 maybe. I can't remember. You guys, my brain is fried today. This is 4 inches. 4 inches by 12 inches. Yep, 12 by 4. 12 by 4. And then it's scored at 2 inches, 4 inches, 8 inches, 10 inches. 2, 4, 8, 10. Scored on the long side, none on the short side. Then I have one piece of paper that is regular card size. You need to go to sleep now. Good night. Thank you, Susie, for staying. This is...
Meg.
Huh?
Meg also.
Oh, good night, Meg. Meg probably knows how to make this already. This is 5.5 by 4 1/4 standard size A2 card. I'm going to put, this is part of our pattern paper from our new stamp set called Places and Pebbles. I'm going to put this one on the back right here. It's really, really beautiful card color. I'm going to go ahead and put it on here. Now, I could have done the ballroom, but I decided to do the roses instead. So we are almost done. Putting this card together is going to go super fast. I'm all about how to make super fast cards these days that are cool but fast. The coloring is what takes longer, and that's because to me, that's the basis of my cards. That's the wow factor.
You could use that background with the Queen of Hearts from the Wonderland.
Yes, I could. It would look really good with the Queen of Hearts. Okay. So then I also have a couple of panels here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you could do 8. I'm only going to do 6 tonight, but you could do 8 if you wanted. So it's 2 for here. And then when I fold this, I'm going to put 1 on the back, and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to take this and fold it in. Where's my bone folder? And then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to fold it backwards like this. Oh, the paper is lush. Yes, I designed those papers for the paper pad. Okay, so now we have this little window. So I don't really make a pattern paper for the back, but I do want one for here. So it'll go here and here and here, but nothing on the back of this one. Then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. I'm going to fold this one over here. And then I'm going to fold this one backwards. So now I have like this open, see? It's like two Z's stuck together. Going to go like this. All right, so I'm going to start putting these papers on there. And I actually cut these papers so they match up. So see how those two pieces go together? So I thought they'd be best to put on the front, because then it looks like a continuous movement from one slice to the next. It won't really matter on the other ones from here, but these ones, I want them to kind of line up. You know what I mean? I think you guys know what I mean. I love these paper pads. I've used my paper pads so much that several of them I only have like 1 or 2 sheets left in them. So, yeah. But that's the benefit of making your own paper pads. It looks like I have this one just slightly longer than I wanted it to be. So I am going to trim that off. You shouldn't have to, but I must have scored it a little bit off. So I'm just going to trim this because it's not really important for the card. All right. And then this is going to open up like this. Also could open like that. So I think I cut these again the same way. So like this one also is the same piece as this one. See, they're the same. So I can put this one here and it will also match with that. I just cut 2 pieces of paper. That's why they match up so well. And I just cut them going in exactly the same direction so that they would match. I wanted them to match up like this, so I did it deliberately that way. When you get used to cutting paper and making cards, stuff like that, stuff just starts coming natural to you. So then this one is the same as this one, so it matches up here nicely as well. So I'm going to place that right there. Just like that. If you're afraid your papers might slip when you rub this over them, just flip it over and do them on the back. It's just, then they won't do that. So this is going to open up now like that. It'll also close like this. So now I'm going to apply the other ones here, and it doesn't really matter for there because nothing lines up next to it. So I'm just going to stick these 2 excess pieces over here because I don't want to waste them. There's one. Here's the other one. That's a wow fold card. See? You guys know. I think we did it once before. Or some version of it. But it's for some reason really really gave me the vibe on this particular card to do this one. I wanted to make it like a congratulations, like anniversary or wedding card. Okay, so this is going to go inside here. I feel like they need a little color on them or something. Okay, we have to stamp the sentiment before we do this, or we have to find one in here. So this pack that I bought, this is Paper Rose Studio. I love them, by the way. And I think their sentiment's going to be the right place. So there's gold. See, there's gold. But there's also rose gold, which I think rose gold matches this the best. There's also silver and black and white and lots of stuff in here. But I thought it would be, I think Happy Anniversary might be better than Congratulations. So I think I'm going to go with Happy Anniversary. So I'm going to cut this one out. Just like that. And then I'm going to trim it down so I get a little more of a straight line. So once it's not on that big paper, I can do it a little bit straighter. Get it a little bit the way I want it. I think I want to cut this just a bit more. Straighten it out. There we go. It'll fit up here in the top perfectly. Very happy about that. I'm going to put it a little bit crooked just because I like it that way. I don't have to worry about this because this is foiled on there. I want it to really stand out, but I also want it to have a little bit of color on it. So I'm going to grab, let's see, how about maybe R01, because R01 was like that cheeky color we did on his little cheeks that was really, really light, but definitely a color. And what I do is I use the back of my marker, which is the chisel end, and I just go along here and just add a little bit of color with the chisel end of my marker. Just to give myself a little bit of a border around the outside, because I feel like it kind of just helps hold the frame a little bit. And I don't care if I have little spaces where there's more ink, less ink. I want it to look jagged like that. So there we go. The only thing I forgot to do while we were doing this is put that blue ink. See that blue ink down there that's like went too far? I need to put that back into her dress. So just push along the edge of it towards the dress, and it'll put it right back in there for you. It might take 2 times to do it, but you'll be able to get it back in there. All right, now I'm going to put this on the inside while that's drying. And then where am I going to put the shoe, you might ask? Well, I have a place for it. I promise. This is going to go right in the middle. This is going to be the part that I said was going to be a peekaboo part, because you're not going to see this part from the outside of the card. So cute. All right, colorless blender one more time along this edge to get that blue back in there. This part will close just like that, and you won't see it. I have a small square here that I cut that is 2 by 3. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this hole punch that I have from Creative Memories, and if you put it in like this, it rounds the corners, but if you put it in like this, it gives you a ticketed corner like this, so it looks like a ticket. I love that this one does 2 different cuts, inside or outside. And then I'm going to take this one that's going to go on top of that, and I'm going to ticket the edges on this one as well. I'm going to place this on top of here, but before I do that, I'm going to give it a little bit of that touch of pink around the outside like I just did with the other one. So using the chisel end of my marker, I'm going to put just a little bit along here, maybe up here, along here, a little bit more on the bottom. Maybe a little bit more on the top. And then I'm going to place that one on top of here. So it has just a hint of that pink, but not a lot. You didn't know your Creative Memory punch did that? It's pretty cool. I know. I was really excited when I discovered it. Okay, we're going to place this on top of here. I'm going to pick it up so I can move it around on there and get it centered about where I want it. Okay, it's time to add our little clock on there. And I'm going to put a pop-up on my clock. I have a few of those. So I only need one little square. And I'm going to pop up my clock. And I want to put it like right here. A little bit crooked. Ooh, good thing I didn't press down on that. There we go. So now we have our little clock. Now this we're going to place centered on top of here. I got to pick it up and see. You love inking the edges. I do too. I don't like getting ink out, but I like doing it with my Copics. So it'll fit right on there. So I'm going to put glue on the back of here. You will be able to see some of those roses from the front, so I kind of like that. Right here. I'll be able to move it just a little bit, make sure I get it kind of centered on there. I'm going to pick it up so I can really see it. Flip it over. Rub it with my little soda press here. Flip it back over. Now this is what we're going to use to hold it shut. So I only need glue on one side, half of it, or just a little bit of it. Then I'm going to place this down on top, just like this. Make sure I got a good hold on there. And now it will hold my card together like this. It looks like, and then ta-da! And then it will also sit up like this. So you can see it'll sit like this. So you can see the happy anniversary and the shoe and all the fancy stuff together. Or you can mail it flat in an envelope like this. So I think it's pretty cool. I like that card. You can put any kind of design you want on the front. I almost did this just cut out the shoe, but I didn't feel like my paper was thick enough. So that's why I decided to do a mat behind it so that we would have that as well. But I think this is a really cute little anniversary card that you could give. And you could put more bling, or you could put like more sentiments on there if you wanted, like true love, or, you know, believe, or late night, or whatever you want. And then you open it up and it says happy anniversary. And look at the walls all line up so perfectly. There we go. There is our beautiful little magical night card for tonight. Next week when I get to doing, I'm doing these ones next week. So if you ordered it and you have it in, you're definitely going to want to be here for that. And I can't wait to do the fairy princess. Okay, anyway, we're going to do them all. It's just going to take a little bit of time. But I like the roses and the stone. I mean, I really like it. So I hope you guys do too. I hope you enjoyed that. Everybody stay safe and stay warm. And yeah, Barbara, I wanted to wait till do the other one till you got your stamps. So I'm so glad you have them now. I'm glad you liked the card, Mama. So stay safe, stay warm. Let me know if you have any questions. If you're in the Arizona area, let me know, because I will be in Arizona, Mesa, Arizona. Chandler, I think, exactly. Next weekend for the Crazy Creations thing. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. And I really appreciate you guys watching. Love you, and I'll upload this to YouTube. If you're watching it on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. It helps us, and we're trying to build the channel. And thank you. Don't forget to watch the Instagram and YouTube, because I've been putting out small speed coloring and stenciling and all kinds of stuff out there that might not be on Facebook. So go check that out too. Thanks. Love you guys. Good night.